Welcome in. I did it.
Right link
Can you
first.
hear me okay?
There we go. Yep. My
I don't
audio
think I
good?
can hear you.
You can't hear me?
Can you hear me okay?
Yep. I have the wrong. I don't know
Oh,
how
I
to
can't
say
hear
it.
you.
it I'm working on it. 1 minute.
Cool.
Uh,
Doug is gone. He'll be back. Can everyone in the chat hear me? I can't hear anything. Hold on. Maybe it's me.
I did have the wrong mic set up, but let me check if I can hear myself on the stream. Hello. Hello. I can hear myself on stream. I'm good. It's you. I'm good. It's you. I can hear myself on here. Anyways, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Just sharing this to my own
Trying to
socials,
figure
and
out what to
then
do.
I will begin breaking down the card for everyone. We got some exciting fights. You are looking at the head of the Aaron Pico fan club tonight. I'm fully bought into the hype. So if you're one of the people who has doubted him because he's in Bellator, prepare for a whole lot of Aaron Pico propaganda from me. And I don't apologize in advance. I'm not sorry. You'll see. I really hope. Anyways, I'm hyped for these fights. This opener, Asakura versus Elliott. Flyweight fights never disappoint to me. Every time I think about the flyweight division, it blows my mind that they were so close to shutting it down when Cejudo fought Dillashaw. I mean, think of all the incredible fights we would have missed out on. Uh, so every time, I'm just thankful we still have the flyweights. I'm excited to see Kaya Asakura again. I mean, that was as literally as tough a debut as you could possibly get. So I think this is a much better debut for him. I like I like him here. He was Roundhouse's pick in the parlay we did this week, and I agreed with him comfortably. I think Elliott's a crafty vet with probably a grappling advantage, and he got subbed the last fight, so you can say, oh, he's fighting a grappler, and he got subbed last fight. I think that's a little bit lazy analysis. You're looking at a freak athlete who got caught in a rear naked choke by the best rear naked choke specialist in the UFC against a huge flyweight, Nasakura, who's a big athlete, hits like a truck, and he's going to be landing on the feet. I mean, Elliott has that hands down style. He's older. I don't know how his durability holds up. I comfortably like Asakura here. I don't know if Roundhouse can hear me yet. He can't. All right, I'll quickly move on to the second fight. MVP versus Cannonier. This one's interesting. I've kind of gone back and forth with picking this one. I landed on MVP by decision, but it's tough because stylistically, I think MVP is going to be tough for Cannonier to corner and unload on, and he's in and out. He's got a big speed advantage. But in terms of volume, MVP's never been a very high volume guy. Cannonier has thrown tons of strikes. Look at the Strickland fight, the Vittori fight. He's broken records for middleweight strikes, and he's the strongest middleweight or the strongest person MVP's ever fought, the biggest person MVP's ever fought. He's not, he fought Shara at middleweight. Shara's never going to try and clinch. We saw Cannonier can use the clinch really effectively and do damage in there like he did against Imavov. Took rounds off Imavov that way, and we've seen how far Imavov's come. And then he used it effectively against Gregory Rodriguez, too. And he weathered that early storm against, Rodriguez is tough. So it's an interesting fight. I do think the speed and just the awkwardness of MVP and the age of Cannonier has to catch up with him at some point. Obviously, I've been so impressed with what he's done at over 40 years old. He's just completely ignored the fact that he's over 40 and stayed up at the top of the division with no decline, if not improvement. But the reality is, at some point, there's going to be a decline, and it's going to be in his 40s. If it's not this fight or the next one, it's coming. But yeah, I found the price to be about right. If you're looking at around minus 200 or just under on MVP, I agree with that. I think he takes a decision. I do get worried that the visuals too, Cannonier could get cracked with a big right, as MVP does quite well. His feints and his way of coming in, he's cracked just about everybody with that big right. Even in his loss to Ian Gary, he got him with it a bunch of times in the second round in particular. So yeah, I think he's going to crack Cannonier with that, get the better visuals, get a decision. Another good matchup, though, where I agree with the price. Third matchup, Jeff Neal versus Carlos Prates. That, I think, is an unquestionable banger. Jeff Neal is going to create damage there. I feel, we saw Ian Gary kind of turn up the volume on Prates early, and we'll see what Prates has learned from that. I think it kind of depends on Prates' ability to land at range. Prates is a really good striker, and he moves forward a lot, and Neal's a high volume guy. He likes to move forward a lot. He's a good boxer, decent movement. He has had a lot of troubling injury history, which, if I was just thinking about it today, how Jeff Neal went from promising up-and-comer to almost gatekeeper. It felt like in a year, from the Stephen Thompson fight where it was like, okay, this guy is on his way up. How far is he going to go? That was back in 2021, I think. But now, 4 years later, he's already kind of a test for these up-and-coming guys like Carlos Prates. That's one that I think is a banger, though. Neal said he's going to knock him out in the first round. I like that mentality. I think Prates, we've seen him go down before on the regional scene. I don't think he has a legendary chin or anything. He's not the youngest guy. He's not that difficult to hit. Gary didn't finish him, but I wouldn't be surprised to see either man find a finish in that one. I think that's going to be a wild one. That's my pick for fight of the night, if anything. Lean towards Prates to end up taking a decision just because of his length. Volume's relatively close, and there's a bit of performance inconsistency with Neal that is a concern. But fight of the night is my biggest pick there. Co-main, I already said to start off, if nobody was here, I'm the leader of the Aaron Pico fan club tonight. My prop bet of the week, if you don't follow me on Instagram, Twitter, all that jazz, was Pico by KO at plus 375. I mean, yeah, there's this narrative. Oh, he has 4 losses in Bellator. He's fought a bunch of bums. I'm not going to argue with you here, but he's also done a lot of this as a kid. He's been fighting in Bellator since he was 19, 20 years old. Fighting, if you look at where he's been in his career, he was fighting high level competition, well, relatively for how early it was, faster than most guys do. And I think that is a testament to what a prospect he was. And he struggled, being on these big cards like Madison Square Garden. He got hit with the flying knee by Adam Borix. He got caught with the right hand. But when you watch him, I think there's just an undeniable level of talent in both the boxing and the wrestling. You can say, oh, well, do it against someone good. I think he does tonight. I think it's just been a matter of him growing into himself as an MMA fighter. He's only 28. People all act like he had this big, long career. This was the beginning of his career in Bellator. I don't even think he'd be in his prime yet at 28, maybe in his physical prime, but as a fighter, I think he needs a little more experience to get into his true prime. The guy has special hands, though. The boxing is just crisp. It's fast. It's technical. Defensively, durability-wise, a little bit of concern. And then the wrestling is undeniable, high level. It's Olympic-level wrestling, alternate, I suppose. There's whatever. You can debate if alternate counts as an Olympic level or not. I don't really care. Point is, it's up there. The guy can fucking wrestle. I think he can do it all. I've definitely not been a guy who's been low on Lerone Murphy. I picked him comfortably against Josh Emmett. I bet him against Edson Barboza. I bet him by decision against Dan Ige. I've quite liked Lerone Murphy on the way up. The only time I think that I bet against him was against Gabriel Santos, and Santos was plus 200 something when I took him. So, sometimes you're playing numbers, and I lost that bet. So, testament to Murphy there. But I just think it's a tough matchup when you see a guy like Ige landing big shots early and landing big takedowns. I think Pico's ceiling is so much higher than an Ige, and that's not disrespected to an Ige. He's a well-rounded, talented test. But I just wasn't convinced enough by what Murphy did to believe that he can do the same against a guy with the skill and the well-roundedness of Aaron Pico. I think, Pico's durability is a concern. The under, I think, is also a decent look. I think either guy could end up landing a knockout. But I just don't see Murphy being able to pick him apart like he was able to pick apart guys like Emmett and Ige through 2 rounds. I think Pico's too clean with the boxing. He's going to be able to mix in the takedowns. He's not as old as Josh Emmett. I think this is a different fight for Murphy than his last few. And, Murphy gets viewed as this prospect, but he's 34. I think that's a pretty well-known joke, the old prospect. But, it's true that when you get up closer to 35, the 35 and over curse is what they know it as. I love calling it a curse because it's just aging. But he's getting to that point where maybe he's not in his physical prime anymore. He hasn't taken much damage, but we did see him dropped a couple times against Ige, so not fully sold on the chin. He also kind of got slept by Edson Barboza in that up kick, but I'm not going to hold an up kick against anyone. That's a pretty brutal strike. Anyways, I'll quickly break down the main event too before these guys get going, because Tim Elliott is about to enter the cage and we're going to get this fight started. So I hope Roundhouse can come soon. I also have been completely forgetting to share stream. Sorry. Hamzat versus DDP. One of the most anticipated matchups of the year. I can't really think of a better one. I mean, kind of the running joke today has been What's your pick? And don't tell me it's Hamzat early or DDP late. Because that's the lazy breakdown. I think that's the common thought breakdown. But really, it's going to be about Dricus trying to avoid these bad positions early. I don't think it's going to be about surviving. Surviving them is not, that can't really be a thought for him. You know, you can't be thinking, oh, if he gets me in a Darce, he's going to gas his arms out. Hamzat's too skilled. He's too dangerous a finisher to get those. I really think it comes down to Dricus taking a more measured approach, which I don't think he's capable of at the end of the day, which is why I picked Hamzat Chimaev to get an early finish. And I do think Hamzat's cardio is underrated because, for the record, although his gas tank has been questioned by just about everyone, been to the third round twice, and he won both third rounds. Can you hear me, Chase? No. Okay. Is it your audio in?
Yeah, I'm on that.
I'm texting him.
My input is connected to my AirPods. I can hear the Slack notifications that you're texting me, but I can't hear your voice from the stream. That's going to. Okay.
If you can hear me, look. Wait, I think you got it. Okay. Sakura getting introduced. This is Mr. Roundhouse's parlay leg here. I like that they actually introduced him as the two-time Ryzen champ. It's also, Joe Rogan acknowledged the PFL Liz Carmouche winning last night. It's interesting they're acknowledging, coincidence that it happened twice in the same night, but normally the UFC avoids acknowledging other promotions. Although I know them and Ryzen have good relations these days, and a lot of promotions that are on Fight Pass, of course. Tim Elliott with the weird movement right away, the jump and spin and jump straight kick. Certainly is an awkward style to deal with. Kind of surprised Uskor doesn't look that much bigger. I thought Uskor would have a big size advantage, but wow, tags him with a quick straight right and a left hook behind it. Patient approach here from Asakura. Elliott bouncing around a ton, feinting these knees and front kicks.
I know I can't hear you, but I really want to watch Kaya Sakura, so I'm going to do that.
Spin kick there from Tim Elliott. Tim Elliott been gone for a couple years here since I believe his win over Sumu Darji, if memory serves correct. It was one of a little streak of submission losses for Sumu Darji before his grappling looked a little bit better lately. Of course, dropping competition against Mitch Raposo. Ooh, good straight right there from Kaya Sakura. He is looking fast. Oh, a left hand. More left hands. Elliott's smiling at him, but he is getting tagged up. Oof. Swinging for the fences, both of them there. I think Asakura got the better of that exchange. Elliott doing some weird shit with his hands. Perhaps trying to put up a force field of sorts. Weird diving. No grappling so far from Elliott. Oh, good straight right again from Asakura. Oh, another good straight right from Asakura. When Asakura goes, he is looking sharp. He is blitzing in a little more now, and he's starting to tag up Elliott. He's starting to get the timing down on this awkward movement. Elliott, the bouncing around, starting to slow down as Elliott tries to mount a proper offense, and just the speed of Asakura. And I mean, Elliott, he's got this awkward style, but he's not really setting anything up. He's not really setting up any boxing. You know, these jumping kicks, they're flashy, but there's, you know, if you know it's coming, Asakura is being very patient, staying at range. Yeah, he just backs up out of the range of that little jump, turns into wasted energy. So I like the measured approach from Asakura. He's doing more damage. He's spending less energy. Oh, good knee to the stomach there. Good straight right. Asakura looks fantastic tonight. Elliott needs to start finding some offense. Good straight right there from Asakura again. And all these big movements from Elliott, they're not really getting him much. I think at least you got to show him the takedown at some point. You've got him backing up off all these weird movements. But striking with him, you're not. He's got to know. Oh, head kick there. Okay, there we go. He gets to the side control right away. Less than a minute to work. Asakura crosses his leg to prevent the pass to full mount. I think Elliott's got to do some damage here, though.